this is it, people. The final episode of our Let's Play for Pokemon White 2. Today we're going to be taking on Marshall of the Elite Four, as well as Caitlin, and then we'll be taking on the champion, which will be basically the end of the game for us, as this is the round 2 of Elite Four, and obviously we took on 2 of the members in the last episode. So, I guess before we quickly jump into this, Marshall's team consists of a level 72 Throw, level 72 Sock, level 72 Medicham, level 72 Lucario, level 72 Mineshaw, and a level 74 Conkeldurr. So going off of the notes, because I mentioned them in my last episode, I'm going to mention them again. Here we're going to be leading with an Espeon who also happens to be carrying the Expert Belt. The Expert Belt is actually needed here in order to give Espeon enough of a, oomph or behind the Psychic in order to actually kill Throw, because believe it or not, Throw is capable of bulking out a regular Psychic without a crit, of course. And so it just needed a little bit of an extra boost, and the reason why we go with the Expert Belt is because he has Medicham, which Shadow Ball is super effective against as well, and instead of having to pick between Twisted Spoon or the Spell Tag, we can use the Expert Belt to boost both of them because they are counted as super effective moves against what we're going to be using them against. So there's that. We plan on using Kyurem against Sock because of its special ability, Turbo Blaze, to obviously get through the sturdy thing. And it needed to be holding a Charcoal in order to do enough damage to it to kill it with Fusion Flare. I didn't want to really waste the PP for Draco Meteor because I didn't know if I was going to need all of them later down the line. So I decided to go with the Charcoal to boost the Fusion Flare to be strong enough to kill the Sock, because without it, Sock actually does live. So from there, it was basically Lucario versus Lucario, Espeon versus Mineshaw, and Espeon against his ace, which is also going to be Conkeldurr. Believe it or not, today Espeon does pretty much all of the work. Considering there's 3 trainers and 2 of them we're going to be using Espeon heavily, yeah. So while we're sitting here finishing off Marshall, I honestly cannot wait for my next Let's Play. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm starting it tomorrow. Some information about this game: I have never played it before. I don't know exactly what I'm walking into with it. Should be interesting to see how things play out. Again, I kind of have mentioned this before as well. It's probably obvious what I'm doing next, but I mean, for those who don't know, I mean, maybe it'll be a huge surprise for everyone. I do hope that you guys join me along on the journey. It'd be great, and I mean, don't really know what else to say. I mean, I'm really looking forward to doing this. I'm not sure when I'm going to get it up, and I might even do 2 episodes tomorrow. I don't know. Just kind of hyped about doing a new game, etc. So, anyways, Marshall's down, so now we need to move the Expert Belt to Samurott for later, because Samurot's going to be very important against Iris. So, I mean, there's that. Also, I believe we need to give, yeah, we need to give the Expert Belt to Samurott, and then we need to, give something else, I think. I don't remember. I think that was all we really actually needed to do. I think the Expert Belt is the only thing that we really moved, other than the Spell Tag that we obviously need to now have on Espeon to take care of pretty much everything she has. There's only 2 Pokemon that we don't actually use Espeon against. Much like when it came to Marshall, literally in both battles it took on 4 Pokemon by itself. The thing is, despite the fact that, like Espeon's the way it is, and even with the boost from the Spell Tag, it's not going to be enough to kill her first Pokemon, which is going to be a level 72 Musharna. She also happens to have a level 72 Sigilif, level 72 Gallade, level 72 Reuniclus, level 72 Gothitelle, and has her ace, a level 74 Metagross. Now, as you can see, even with a Spell Tag boost on Shadow Ball, it does not kill. Luckily, I don't see what I really don't want to see turn 1, and that's Yawn. Usually she leads with Yawn. I don't know what caused her to lead, just not using it. But obviously getting her into the red, she's going to use a full restore. So instead of just attacking and doing a bunch of damage and then attacking again, sparing ourselves the PP and getting a +1 to basically wipe out as many of her Pokemon as possible. We go for the X Special, and then we go for the Shadow Ball, which is going to be now more than enough to kill Musharna in a single shot. It's the only Pokemon that was really kind of a problem whenever it came to planning this out. Obviously, Metagross and Sigilyph are kind of easy to take care of. I mean, you only really need one Pokemon for those two, and the rest of them you could just use Espeon's Shadow Ball on. So, I mean, like I said in the last episode, Espeon's kind of back with a vengeance, because if I remember correctly, it did faint once in our first run through the Elite Four, and now it's kind of putting in more work than every other Pokemon. I would have to say that MVP of the second round of the Elite Four, maybe even the entire Let's Play, would have to probably go to Espeon. I mentioned at the very beginning that you only really need Lucario, and this is actually true. You can change up your moves at any time. Ideally for the Elite Four, you would probably want something along the lines of Night Slash, Close Combat, Ice Punch, and probably Sword Stance. If you don't want to go for the setup move, then you probably you would have to go with some serious power leveling on it. But I mean, what Pokemon couldn't sweep the Elite Four if it was like level 95? I mean, let's be real, there's a very few Pokemon that can't. But I mean, whatever. I mean, okay, that's not entirely true. People have done things like Magikarp and Rattata and all this other happy crap, so it's still possible. But you know. And anyways, in comes Sigilyph. Obviously we needed Kyurem for Metagross, and we needed it for Sigilyph, the stab Ice Beam, and then being able to have a boosted Fusion Flare by the Charcoal on Metagross was our ideal way of taking care of things. So yeah, that's all 4 members of the Elite Four down. So obviously we now have to get ready for the champion, and for this we're going to be leading Lucario. So Iris's team is just reading it off here, a level 76 Hydreigon as her lead, a level 76 Druddigon, a level 76 Archeops, a level 76 Aggron, a level 76 Lapras, and as her ace, a level 78 Haxorus that happens to be carrying a Focus Sash. Just saying, the Haxorus is probably one of the biggest things that I was afraid of going into this fight, because, I mean, and yes, I'm moving the speed back down. I sped up the other thing because obviously, if you couldn't tell by the time of the full time of the episode, it's kind of long, credits and everything. So yeah, I kind of wanted to do this at normal speed just because it's kind of a quote-unquote special moment, taking on the champion, etc. I wanted to make sure that I had everything in order here, heal off any damage that I potentially had on anything, and then started the battle, because obviously if we needed something, then I wanted to be at full power, of course. But yeah, so I mean, I wanted this battle to be kind of at normal speed, all the hype music at normal speed, not, chirpity chirp chirp chipmunk type of status. But yeah, so all I know is, I can tell you exactly how I plan this out. Hydreigon's going to be up against Lucario here because, fighting type. It's also got, I think it's one of those belts. I think it's a black belt that boosts fighting type moves, and as a result, obviously close combat's going to do a lot of damage, being stab boosted by the black belt, and obviously, just being a 120 base power move, and it's super effective damage while we're at it. So obviously that was a clean KO for Lucario. When it came to Druddigon, Archeops, Aggron, Lapras, and Haxorus, Haxorus was definitely down to Samurott. Samurott had to be used against that. It also was used against Druddigon, and I wasn't entirely sure about this. Without any kind of boost to its attacks, Ice Beam doesn't kill, or rather it has a chance to not kill. It does, I think, anywhere between 86% to 103% damage. I actually did do the calc. Of course, Pokemon Showdown's calculator is kind of down, so maybe I used an inaccurate one. I don't know. I think a lot of the NPC IVs are 25, so I kind of took a rough guess as to what mine might be. So that was also another thing. I had to kind of guess that I had good IVs, or I just assume that the worst might happen. I might have low IVs, stuff like that. Also, in trying it out, and I just wasn't sure what all was going to happen. So Extra Belt obviously helped put the damage over. And as you can obviously see, we use Lucario against Lapras because super effective damage against ice types with fighting. Aggron is going to be left to Samurott, same with Archeops. and that should be kind of obvious from now because we've already taken out Druddigon, Hydreigon, and I already mentioned Haxorus. So, I mean, Haxorus I probably got very, very lucky on. I don't know what it would have done. I had instantly assumed it was going to set up Dragon Dance or go straight for the Outrage to go for some massive damage on me. I would say Samurai's not exactly one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the game, but it's definitely good for like special attack. I believe its base is like 108 or something like that. And it comes to Haxorus, and like I said before, this thing is carrying a Focus Sash, so obviously you can't one-hit kill this thing. So I just had to go for the Waterfall just for that off chance that we happen to get a flinch. And the funny thing is we happen to get the flinch, and as a result the sash is broken, and now we have a boosted Ice Beam thanks to Expert Belt, and the level cap is going to be more than enough to help me put over the damage and kill it. The only other item that's on her team, by the way, is on Druddigon, which is obviously already dead, so it's not really relevant for the rest of this battle. But it carries the Life Orb and happens to have the Sheer Force ability, which can be very bad if you're not prepared for it. So, I mean, and the thing about Lucario being my lead, Hydreigon has Fire Blast and Focus Blast, so that could also be a problem if I had somehow missed or something. But obviously we didn't, and obviously we've beaten Iris, meaning we've basically become the champion for a second time, even though, you know, like the game actually does recognize the fact that you are the champion. Like for whatever reason, Iris is just still here as the champion, even though the game recognizes you at the, I don't know. Anyways, we're obviously going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, you know, all that other happy fun stuff. I kind of want to mention this again. My Let's Play for, like, my next Let's Play is going to be starting tomorrow. I'm going to hopefully get the first episode up really early, so be sure to check, you know, keep checking for it. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I promise that people shouldn't be disappointed with it. If you are, then, well, I don't, I may have a joke for that whenever it comes to the first episode. But, I mean, I don't know. So obviously we get to see what all Pokemon took us through the final run of the Elite Four of this Let's Play, and honestly, I'm happy with how it turned out. There's one thing I really wish could have been a little bit different, and that was having Electro steal a little bit more play. But I think I got one with really bad speed or something. I don't know. And I just didn't like. Maybe I should have went with a Timid. I think I went with Modest. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe I should have gone with Timid to kind of give it that extra boost in speed. It's not exactly a fast Pokemon anyways, but I mean, I kind of wish it might have been a little bit faster, and therefore able to, you know, outspeed more things and actually be able to, you know, do something because of it. Samurai, of course, being our MVP of the champion battle. So yeah. Credits are about to come up, so I'm going to mention this now. Be sure to stay tuned for my next Let's Play starting tomorrow. I promise you guys won't be disappointed, and I might do a second episode of it tomorrow as well. I don't know, it might be a dual episode thing, I don't know. But anyways, that's all I really have left to say. Thanks for watching, and until next Let's Play, this is the PokeGamer, signing out.